Welcome, everyone. My name is Amy Burton. Thank you so much for joining us either live or perhaps on the recording. We are discussing tonight, doing an in-depth overview of the Univera products with Dr. Neil Tesler. He is a practicing naturopathic doctor out of White Rock, BC, and also has a specialty in homeopathy and has been working with the Univera formulas for over 10 years. So he brings a wealth of knowledge and ideas and inspiration, and we're very grateful to have you, Neil, sharing with us this evening. So go ahead and take it away.
Thanks so much, Amy. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to give you a little bit about my background with Univera. So you have a little context for how a naturopathic physician found their way into this project. And then we're going to go through some of the underlying concepts that I want you to get right off the bat before we work our way into the products. On our way into the products, we're also going to look at some of the aspects of Univera that particularly attracted my attention and mean a lot to me, and I think are important to convey to you. And then from there, we're going to look at the products. Specifically, we're going to look at 6 products, 5 in more or less depth, 5 products from the metabolic makeover. And by the end of that, you should have a really good idea what this project is all about. And then Amy will tell you a few things about how you can get your products paid for. You can get them actually for free, or different ways that you can approach getting into the products. As after our conversation, I'm sure you'll be very excited to have a try for yourself. So, not sure how to get this forward. Come on. There we go. Yeah, several strategies to reduce or eliminate the cost of your products. So, what I want to just kind of share with you that I was introduced to Univera by a friend 12 years ago, actually. And I was completely uninterested because network marketing people are always trying to get naturopathic physicians involved in their project. Presumably it lends credibility, that sort of a thing. So I was kind of on guard with people coming in from a network marketing paradigm. One of the reasons is, as a naturopathic doctor, when I go to events on a regular basis, conferences and things of this nature for naturopathic physicians, there's always a huge room full of probably 45 to 60 different high-end natural product vendors. You assume you've got the natural product world at your fingertips. And so when someone comes along and says, I've got this thing, generally speaking, I was on auto reject. But because Wendy, who now lives in Souk, is an old friend of mine. In those days, she was in Edmonton. And I respected her, and I didn't have the heart to just completely blow her off. After about 3 months, I finally ordered some Univera Extra in order to basically appease her and give it a try. And lo and behold, there were such impressive results in my family from the product that it kind of woke me up a bit. It was really those results that made me stand up and pay attention. I began to research the ingredients. I was extremely impressed with the design intelligence of the product. And then I began to look a bit more closely at the company, thanks to Angeline Toth on Bowen Island, who came all the way down to me in White Rock, BC, and presented some information and all of that. Mostly at the time, it went in one ear and out the other. But after a little bit of time, maybe another month or so, I picked up the literature, began to look at it, and it all started to fall into place. So what we're talking tonight about is energy. And I'll tell a bit more as we get into some of the information further on. We're talking about energy, but we're not talking about cosmic energy, spiritual energy. We're not talking about prana, chi, all those wonderful things. We're talking about cellular energy, the basic energy that drives repair in the body. And so we're going to get into what that's all about, because this is very important. It's very topical. It's information that's going to be meaningful to you and to people you know and care about in your life. So what we're talking about is something called the mitochondria. So the mitochondria I call the cellular furnace. What you have here on the left of your screen is a picture of a human cell. In the cell, you see the nucleus at the center, and then you see these various elements that are called organelles. These are different elements that exist within the cell. Well, it's very interesting. And then you see right here in the middle of the screen, you see the mitochondria, which is this element in the cellular picture that has all these kind of curvy striations. Now, the mitochondria is the energy engine of the cell. It is the cellular furnace. Interestingly enough, historically or prehistorically, in the primordial soup, when the earth was just all water, the mitochondria was actually a bacteria. It would be interesting for you to know that the mitochondria has its own DNA because it was in its origin a bacterium that was a high energy bacterium that created a synergistic relationship with other bacteria in the, or other single-celled organisms in the primordial oceans that were striving to make their way towards the light. And they created a symbiotic relationship where the mitochondria provided the energy and the cell provided the striving intelligence, driving it towards the light. And as a result, you had the beginnings of true cellular life that became the foundations of all forms of life on the planet, because plants, animals, and sea life, etc., everything is driven in its activities by the mitochondria. So it's become the universal, for living organisms, the universal cellular furnace. So we want to understand that because, when I first discovered Univera 12 years ago, and I discovered that most of the elements of the product Extra were directed towards mitochondrial health, I really did not know a whole lot about that. And it was not topical. It was not discussed. I want you to understand that now it's at the very apex of all discussion on the subject of health, whether it's mental health and products for brain function and general nutritional health. A lot of discussion about how to make the mitochondria function more efficiently. That's a lot of what we're going to talk about tonight. Now, the mitochondria produces several different energy molecules. The foremost is ATP, or adenosine triphosphate. You could call this the energy currency of the cell. What does that mean? That means that the ATP that's produced in the process going on in the mitochondria, which is called, by the way, oxidative phosphorylation, and I'll tell you the meaning of that in a minute. ATP is like the energy currency. It's literally like the dollars and cents that are being exchanged in all of the cellular activities that are going on. It provides the elements that maintain the activities of the cell. And you can see here by this chart that this ATP is distributed among the various organs in different ways. And the more the amount of activity going on in the cells of that organ, the more the mitochondria overall. Now, what we want to avoid, but what we do see even in young people nowadays, are hypometabolic states. We want to avoid that. It means that you have more and more damaged mitochondria that are not producing enough energy. Now, there are different reasons this can occur, from a diversity of environmental toxins, stress in various forms, inadequate nutrient intake, pollutants in the environment, medications of different kinds, even excipients and vaccines, which are meant to enhance the function of the vaccine, but are often toxic, like aluminum salts or mercury salts. All of these things can play a role in damage to the mitochondria. Come on. Sorry, I'm trying to, there we go. So what happens when there's not enough metabolic energy? Well, it's important to understand that really it affects everything. First and foremost, low vitality. Many people nowadays, I see an incredible number of people on thyroid medications for hypothyroidism, low thyroid states. A lot of that is due to other dysfunctions going on that are affecting how the thyroid is working. Because in the overall organism, you could say knee bone's connected to the thigh bone, etc. So everything is interconnected. All too often, we think of things in terms, and we're in a way we're kind of incentivized by the way the medical system works, the conveyor belt of medicine, where they're slotting into a diagnosis and moving things along at a very rapid rate. They look at the thyroid, or they look at one particular problem or another, and often miss the interconnections between problems that are where one problem leads to another. So you can see there the diversity of issues. I would like to emphasize for a moment cognitive decline. When there's not enough mitochondrial energy being created, you lose neuroplasticity. What does that mean? Or brain plasticity. That means the ability for the brain, the nervous system, obviously in the brain, the central nervous system, to adapt and change and grow and alter itself according to circumstance. And neuroplasticity is a precursor of neurological disease. So problems with the mitochondrial function can actually affect mental clarity and focus, as well as the overall health and memory and moods as well. So all of these different things play a very, very important role in your general well-being. So we want to avoid hypometabolic states. So the metabolic goal is more mitochondria, efficient mitochondrial repair, efficient mitochondrial function, healthy digestion, balanced hormonal function. All of these things go to play a role in general metabolic health, because we should point out that when you breathe, the body's separating out all the other gases and grabbing the oxygen jumps on a red blood cell, it whirs around through your body, and then it jumps off and makes its way into the cell. Why? Because oxidative phosphorylation, the process I mentioned goes on in the mitochondria, requires oxygen. So oxygen is the first requirement for healthy metabolism. So you want to go out and breathe. As Stephen Chernisky, our former chief scientific officer, used to say, if you're sitting at a red light, deep breathe rather than just be kind of angry about it. By the way, my heaven has no red lights. So basically, the next thing is food. The mitochondria requires, the cell requires the breakdown form of the food that you eat in the form of ketones, which are the broken down form of fats, as many of you know, or glycogen, the broken down form of all forms of carbohydrate, which could range from Wonder Bread to white sugar to even your whole grain brown rice. So this is metabolism. Metabolism is what you put in your mouth and what you breathe, and then it is the conveyor belt that carries that nutrient information to the cell and then to the mitochondria. So you could say that the mitochondria is the endpoint of the metabolic process. So yeah, what we're about here today is a metabolic makeover. We're going to talk about 5 products that are designed to ensure that at every stage of life, youth, middle age, and old age, that whatever that may be, that you have healthy metabolism and efficient metabolism. Now, of course, we're not just all about products. We're interested in your general overall health and your better choices, the choices that you make that are going to make a difference in your quality of life so that you can become the person that you are meant to be. When you are very young, You're like a plant that's just growing up. Once you hit a certain stage, you become a bud and a flower, and that flower, for it to grow and become the person you're meant to be, to achieve your destiny, you need your core overall health. So you want to eat well. You want to get out into nature. You're not just a human being disconnected from nature. You are in an animal body, a human body. You are part of nature. You want to get out into nature and connect, because that will help clear your mind, soothe your overall body, every cell of your body. So getting out onto the beach, or getting to the pasture, or getting into the forest, these things are all very, very important for our health. Getting looked after, getting a massage, that kind of thing, very, very important. Exercise, so many health benefits to regular exercise at every stage of life. If there's one thing that truly improves general metabolism, it is exercise. Healthy and happy relationships, love, hugs, all those things play an incredibly important role in your metabolism and your overall mental and physical health. So an ounce of prevention is certainly worth a pound of cure. And of course, first and foremost, a diet of whole food, mostly plants. And this is very important, very basic, and represents the cutting edge of modern research in terms of what works best for human health. Now, of course, there's been enormous advances in nutritional biochemistry. And fortunately for us, Univera is at the very leading edge of these tremendous advances that are going on in natural products research. And we'll talk about that in a moment. In fact, here we are. Univera has remarkably integrated global resources that are farm-to-family structure, with over 10,000 farmed acres, over 100,000 acre botanical preserve. That happens to be, by the way, in Siberia. Long story. Univera is growing, at this stage, is an old slide, almost half of the world's commercial aloe, with farms in 5 countries. The science is exceedingly advanced, with now a 20,000 medicinal plant library, from which they've developed almost 200 patents and patents pending on novel plant extract combinations. There are 50 full-time plus full-time scientists involved in this project, with well over now $100 million in pure research, and a pharmaceutical level of research laboratories utilizing proteomic and genomic research labs. What does that mean? The ability to look at the plant extracts and see exactly how they're impacting human cells, human DNA, in other words, our genes, and also the proteins that those genes are expressing. Because when a gene is activated, it expresses a protein that is going out and performing a function, a kind of piece of information that is going out and generating a process somewhere out in the cell. So it's very, very important to realize that with this level of technology, Univera is able to develop these hundreds of patents and be able to know exactly how the human genome is being impacted. What that allows is for you to create products with tremendous specificity. And I want you to understand that there are few universities and very few natural product companies at this stage, long after Univera, who have this level of expensive, cutting edge, high-end technology that is the very best that the scientific world has to offer. Furthermore, Univera has its own 250,000 square foot manufacturing facility. And this facility, I've been to 100,000 square foot natural product manufacturing facilities. That is absolutely enormous. It's just hard for me to imagine a 250,000 feet of manufacturing space. Just brilliant. So one of the things that I noticed when I started really researching Univera was this tremendous, actually unprecedented, globally unprecedented capacity to really go deep into the power of plants to change human life and control from farm to family every stage of the process in order to ensure quality. And we'll get a bit more into that. Now, what is this all about? This is about the power of choice. It's very important because the choices that you make define the quality and character of your life. Choice is everything. What differentiates an adult from a child is taking responsibility for oneself. A child blames. We won't name any names as examples of people who blame. We've all had our times of blame. But taking responsibility for your health and your life and the results that you get in your life depends on the quality of the choice, which depends on the quality of the choices that you make. This is the hallmark of adult life. Now, you have several things in your favor. You're creating 300 billion new cells on a daily basis. That means that every choice you make in terms of what you put in your mouth and the air you breathe, the water you drink, even the thoughts you think and feel go to condition the quality of your cellular health. Furthermore, only 25% of the aging process is genetically driven. That means that 75% falls within the realm of choice. So I cannot emphasize enough, especially to younger people, you are in the driver's seat to a large extent of your destiny. We may be karmically predetermined to a certain extent. If you look at the astrology chart or the palm of somebody's hand or the two parents that they have, you can see there's a lot of predetermination and genetic predetermination. And yet you have a tremendous capacity of choice. So the bottom line is reduce the lame excuses, take joy in making better choices. So in my discovery process, looking at Univera, trying to understand what this thing was really all about, I was sitting on the beach one day with the information that Angeline gave me. And I had this really wonderful brochure way back. We're talking the summer of 2006. And I'm looking at what makes Univera products unique. And the first thing I understood was source control. Source control means when you have the thousands of farming acres that Univera has, when you like a plant and you want to use that in your products, you can grow it yourself, which ensures the character and quality of that plant. Second of all, quality assurance. Many times what we find is periodically in a newspaper or magazine or in some news source, a newspaper, that's so funny, you're going to hear a story about how some agency raided an American drugstore and checked out different herbal products and found that they did not have the quantity of the labeled ingredients, if any, of the labeled ingredients of a particular herbal product. How does that happen? That happens when a company is not quality driven, but orders a bundle of herb X without testing it to make sure that the bioidentity of that herb is there. And that's what HPLC and HPTLC testing is all about. And that allows you, that's high potency liquid chromatography that allows you to look at the bioidentity of the plant to make sure that all of the it is what it says it is, and all of the bioactive ingredients are in there. Univera utilizes the highest quality of raw material identity testing to make sure that there is that the plant has the right identity. Second of all, they test for microbial heavy metal, the same quality testing allows you to see if there's anything else in there that is not of that plant, which could include any of the things that are on the screen: microbes, heavy metals, organic solvents, pesticides, anything else you can think of that does not belong in that plant extract. The other thing that excited me a lot when I started looking at the various Univera products was what I term their design intelligence, which I define as research-based ingredient synergy. What is synergy? Synergy means more than the sum of the parts, to provide efficient delivery of the intended value of the product. I'm practically getting dizzy talking like this. I need to take a breath. And the other thing that I really noticed when I was researching the ingredients was there are benefits for the whole body from every product. Each product has systemic benefits even when it's a targeted formula. And we're going to look at examples of this. So there are formulas that are more general in nature, like Extra, but in some respects, aloe is targeted, rheumatics is targeted, level G is targeted, yet their ingredients have benefits in every cell of your body. Regenifree is another example. And we'll look at this as we go along. And last but not least, product efficacy. One of the most exciting and important aspects of the Univera products is that they work. They deliver what they say they deliver in so many cases, which is why I use Univera products in my practice and why I'm still able to make a very considerable income off the Univera business I built over the years, 12 years ago, because people continue to use the products to this day. And because the products work, they make an amazing difference in people's lives. And as a practicing naturopathic physician, there's nothing I want more than the products that I'm giving people to work. So this is the thing that you can be excited about, because when you share these products with other people, there's a very high chance that they're going to really come back to you and say, wow, I'm really loving this. So let's start to look at the products. I'm sure you're ready for that after all this preliminary chitter chat. So Extra, as I talked about early on, was the first product that I was introduced to. It's really a product that's about energy, mental clarity, stress management, and joint comfort and flexibility. So again, I talked about in my introduction, if you were there, when we talk about energy, we're talking about that core vitality, core cellular vitality that proceeds from an efficient metabolic furnace that is known as the mitochondria. Mental clarity and focus, everybody wants that. They want that at every stage of life. You want to be able to think clearly, creatively, and be able to express yourself coherently at every stage of life. You want your memory to work at every stage of life, you know, not just a matter of deterioration in your 60s or 70s, what have you. I find even young women with babies or young children get their brains scrambled from all the activities that they're engaged with. Univera product here, Extra, helps significantly with mental clarity at every age. Stress is something we all deal with. There's nothing wrong with stress. Stress plays a very important role in how we learn to adapt. It goes back to the old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So whether the stress is emotional, whether the stress is physical, all that's really required is that we are more adaptable in the face of stress. So we want to be more physically adaptable to stress, and that's what Extra provides. Emotional adaptability is something that we hopefully learn and acquire through life's kicks and knocks. Now, joint comfort and flexibility, we all want to be able to enjoy healthy joint function at every stage of life. I have friends who are guitarists in their mid-60s and 70s. They have joint issues. I get them on the Univera products, and they get excellent results where they're able to play their guitar, play their instruments. Same for lots of even young people who from snowboarding, skateboarding, basketball, tennis, what have you, experience joint or back issues. We have the products that are going to help, but in the context of extra, it's about a particular ingredient, which is a potent natural anti-inflammatory that can make very important difference. So the other interesting thing that was discovered through research was that extra can reduce the rate of DNA damage in as little as 14 days. And I don't know about you, but if you've got DNA like I do, then you're very excited about the idea of reducing DNA damage. Okay, so here's the ingredients, and we're just going to go through this fairly quickly. I used to do this in separate slides, but I don't want to dilate on it. What you see on the left are the key ingredients in the product. What you see on the right are the key values. I could probably have lines going between one ingredient and some of these various benefits that are listed there. But let's just go through it rather quickly so you get a general idea, because this is very important, very interesting. I doubt that many of you, other than the ones who've heard this before, know what ornithine alpha-ketoglutarate is. Well, ornithine is essentially an amino acid that is a carrier molecule for alpha-ketoglutarate. Alpha-ketoglutarate is a protein molecule that is part of the energy exchange process that is on what's called Krebs citric acid cycle. That is the name of the process, along with the electron transport chain that's going on in the oxidative phosphorylation process of the mitochondria, the energy furnace of the cell. Alpha-ketoglutarate is at the number 4 position of what's called Krebs citric acid cycle. It is a rate limiting step. That means it wears down as compared to the other stations in that cycle. And if it wears down, that means even if you have enough at station 1, 2, and 3, you are limited in the amount of ATP, adenosine triphosphate, that you can produce because you don't have enough alpha-ketoglutarate. So it slows down the whole process. It's just like if you had a conveyor belt where something is you're manufacturing some doohickey and it requires a number of different parts, but you don't have enough of one part, so you can only make so many doohickeys. So by supplementing alpha-ketoglutarate, you dramatically increase the amount of ATP production. Cordyceps sinensis, it also, as it metabolizes, it stimulates, point number 3 on the right, the increasing human growth hormone. And that has many anabolic roles. Anabolic metabolism means the metabolism of repair and building. And that includes building muscle. So that includes building new brain cells. That includes the repletion of liver cells, etc. Cordyceps sinensis is a wonderful mushroom extract. There's a picture of it down there on the bottom left. It actually grows out of the body of a species of caterpillar above the 14,000 foot level of Himalayas. Very strange, yes, I know. But that fungus is now grown in organic rice grain media, where they standardized it for the active principles. Cordyceps sinensis is considered to be the premier anti-aging substance in the whole materia medica, or the herbal lexicon of Chinese medicine. It has many wide-ranging benefits throughout the body and brain, but the thing that I like to particularly point out about it, that is, I think, most intriguing about its benefits for energy production in the cell, is that it dramatically improves cellular oxygenation. So in other words, it increases the amount of oxygen that are being drawn into the lungs, and it increases the amount of oxygen that actually gets into the cells by about 50%, which is obviously very significant. And the increased oxygen leads to increased ATP production. Rhodiola rosea and Withania somnifera are both what are called adaptogens. Adaptogenic herbs help you adapt, bottom line. And so if you're a little over here, they bring you back to center. If you're a little over there, they bring you back to center. They have a non-specific balancing effect on overall metabolism in the body. But along with that, they have a number of specific benefits on adrenal function, lowering cortisol, improving ATP production in the cell. So that's now 4 ingredients that improve ATP production in the cell. They have cognitive benefits. They affect the brain. They affect stamina and endurance, both in terms of mental function and physical function. That means that you can run longer, you can do your exercise longer. They also improve recovery time. But when I say also mental endurance, for those of you who are doing exams or trying to keep up with my rap right now, take some extra because it will help you keep up. So that's endurance. Green tea extract has a wide variety of antioxidant, anti-mutagenic, neuroprotective benefits. It also helps improve DNA protection and repair. So very significant. Ginkgo biloba, it's not bilobo. It's not Bilbo Baggins. Ginkgo biloba, I got to get around to fixing that. Improves microcirculation throughout the body and brain. That has benefits for the eyes, benefits for brain function, and benefits for our overall circulation and the transmission of oxygen and nutrient to the cells. Protectin, which is a combination of 2 plants we'll be looking at a little further on in a bit more detail, is one of the results of Univera's a high end of research, and is a very potent natural anti-inflammatory, and also improves general metabolic function. It improves the efficiency of that metabolic conveyor belt that gets the nutrient of oxygen and fat and sugar into the cell, so that it doesn't just make you fat or diabetic, in a nutshell. Now, all those fantastic potent ingredients, and there are still a few others, a few B vitamins that are activators for that cellular metabolic process. All of this is in a delicious and highly metabolically activating fruit berry concentrate, because it was discovered that the pigments, the thing that gives those grapes and cherries and blueberries and cranberries their color, are highly bioactive flavonoid molecules that have wide-ranging benefits throughout the body, sometimes on very specific symptoms. And research, animal model research, showed that these very specific pigments, these very specific fruit concentrates, had extremely potent anti-aging benefits in animal model research, meaning it made that rat run a maze. An old rat with white beard ran the maze like young rats, or it swam that moat like a young rat. So they're potent antioxidants. They provide DNA protection. They help improve brain function and memory. They improve general metabolism. Again, the conveyor belt of that goes from your mouth and your nose to the cell and to the mitochondria. Your urinary tract health, as you well know with cranberry extract, and reduced muscle damage from exertion, which you're going to be, after you take this product, you're going to want to get out and use that energy, and so you're going to want help with muscle damage. You've got that right here in the same product extra. So the other thing is it's very highly antioxidant. Antioxidant means what? It means that what happens in the mitochondria, what happens in that oxidative phosphorylation process within the mitochondria, is that it splits an oxygen molecule, it utilizes one of them, and the other is what's called a free radical. And free radicals cause what is known as oxidative stress. So an antioxidant is a substance that grabs that oxygen molecule, that free oxygen molecule, known as a free radical, before it can do too much damage. Now, we have natural systems in our body that are meant to mop up those free radicals. superoxide dismutase, alpha lipoic acid, vitamin E, vitamin C, and most importantly, glutathione, but they do degrade with age. So providing a high quality antioxidant supplement can make a major difference in protecting you from your now more efficient mitochondrial function now, or when you get on extra, or now that you're on extra. As you can see, the standard American diet provides only 1,500 antioxidant, what are called ORAC, oxygen radical absorbance capacity factors, 1,500 in the standard American diet. That is not enough. In ancient cultures, they would eat as many as 30 to 40 different plants a day, providing a vast array of antioxidants. You want to use 2 ounces of extra a day, and that's going to provide you approximately 9,000 antioxidant units. That's much more powerful than a glass of acai juice or something of that nature. That's where the action is. So now we've talked about extra. You're very excited by that. I'm sure you're rushing to your fridge right now to have a drink. So let's talk about digestion. All of us experience from time to time issues of the digestive tract. And this is such an important arena because a huge amount of immune functioning, around 60% of our immune function, is based on the state of health of the GI tract or the gastrointestinal tract. The microbiome, the bacteria of the gastrointestinal tract, is composed of trillions of cells, more than there are cells in our body, that play a vast diversity of roles, that are constantly feeding information both to our nervous system, to our brain, to our liver, and other organ systems. And it's just the incredible interface between what is outside and what is inside of our body, because really, open your mouth and you've got a long continuous tube that goes out the other end at the bottom. It's an open space from out there through you back out there. So it's kind of fascinating. It's like this great circulation. But in the meantime, it provides this very, very, very potent interface. So Aloe is really what we're going to be talking about. Aloe Select, which is Univera's 3rd generation aloe product. The aloe plant you're looking on the right there is in my very office. You can see it flowering every spring in my office. It first shows the bud in mid-January, and then it goes shooting up. And it also, by the way, drips a nectar from those flowers that is the most delicious honey that I scrape off the plant. And just with my finger and have a little lick at work. It's really wonderful. So in the meantime, Aloe Select is by a factor of 3 the strongest aloe liquid in the world, next to the next competitive product. They did independent research with a number of aloe liquid products, and Aloe Select comes out through a special process that they discovered to contain 3 times the active molecules. Now, what you have in aloe are long-chain mucopolysaccharides around which are woven around 75 different nutrients, many of them unique, that make aloe vera a very powerful nutrient drink with a wide array of anti-inflammatory and diverse health benefits. Besides supporting nutrient absorption, in other words, aloe increases nutrient absorption, it decreases inflammation in the gastrointestinal tract, it supports a general digestive health, it provides prebiotic support, in other words, it supports healthy, beneficial intestinal growth, and it actually influences overall immunity. It provides antioxidant defense. It also is antibacterial and helps liver function. It improves collagen synthesis. So the packing tissue in the body, it actually stimulates the fibroblasts that produce collagen. So it helps maintain healthy packing tissue throughout the body, healthy connective tissue. That's very important because that's your substance, as it were. There was yes, and it helps blood sugar as well. A lot of research that shows how aloe helps support healthy blood sugar. So you can just hear from that how wide-ranging the benefits of aloe are. And so you can see that it's a natural complement to extra. So you're gonna, you can actually get packs from Univera that have aloe and extra together. Very recommendable. And it's often a great way to get started is with a couple of bottles of extra and a big bottle of aloe, because you're going to want to have about 2 bottles of extra per month. And that aloe is going to be just great for you too, a couple ounces a day, usually diluted, and usually with meals. So heart health. Rhythmatics is a product that exemplifies the principle that I explained earlier of systemic benefits with even targeted formulas in the Univera line. Univera's, this product contains a unique extract from the bamboo leaf called Unibex that is tremendously valuable in its ability to improve the function of the arteries and veins by decreasing inflammation in the lining of the arteries, in the intima of the arteries. And let's see here if we can get all these up and not rush forward. I think that's it. So it supports cardiovascular health, it promotes healthy circulation, and it helps to maintain healthy vein structure. Health Canada, where we're allowed to make very specific claims, has allowed us to say that it helps maintain and support cardiovascular health. It helps to form red blood cells, so it helps actually in the formation of more red blood cells, which is also very exciting. It's a source of omega, because more red blood cells means more energy as well, because more red blood cells that are healthy, presuming you have enough iron and vitamin B12, means you can carry more oxygen, you can carry more nutrient out to the cells. So it's a source of omega-3 fatty acids for the maintenance of good health. It helps support cognitive health or brain function. I'm going to emphasize that. It helps the body to metabolize carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. So here we have another product along with aloe, along with extra, that supports the metabolic conveyor belt that gets the ingredients from your mouth and nose to the cell. But I want to point out that the effects on your brain are just as powerful with this product as they are on your heart and cardiovascular system. So much so that you could call this product Brainmatics. So let's look at the ingredients. Resveratrol is the first one I'm going to identify. Resveratrol is a very powerful, it's another flavonoid molecule that's found in certain species of grapes, in certain climates and environments. Also, it's found in an invasive weed of the Pacific Northwest called Japanese knotweed. Some of you who get out there and take walks around your neighborhood will notice it. I've seen it very often. It's regarded as an invasive weed. It's quite rich in this molecule, resveratrol, which is a darling of the natural product industry because it's extremely wide-ranging metabolic benefits, anti-aging. It even it's such a powerful anti-aging molecule that in animal model and insect model, it significantly increases lifespan. It's anti-inflammatory. It has cardiovascular health benefits. It keeps the blood fluid. It lowers damage to fat cells. It actually stimulates the death of cancer cells. It's potently antioxidant. It supports neurological health. It's neuroprotective. It helps increase your ability to metabolize sugar. It stimulates bone growth. It provides UV light protection. And it increases, this is very, very important, it increases mitochondrial biogenesis. which means it increases the number of mitochondria in the cell. And what does that do? It means more energy in the cell, more vitality, more muscle, etc. All things that you need, especially as you're getting older. So this is a very, very powerful ingredient that you're getting in a sweet spot dose of 125 milligrams per 2 capsules, which is the most beneficial dose. You're not going to benefit by more. You're not going to benefit by much less. It's a sweet spot dose for all the benefits that resveratrol has to offer. The other 3 major ingredients are coenzyme Q10, which also is a very, very interesting, very studied molecule. You've all heard of it. It's a critical factor in cellular energy. There's another image of the mitochondria. Coenzyme Q10 actually lives within the inner lining of the mitochondria. It helps the oxygen get into the cell, and it plays an important antioxidant role going out of the cell. It plays a very important role in cellular stability, in the overall health of the cell. It supports so many different aspects of our general health. As you can see there, very, very important. Very complex in its actions, very, very important. And so you're getting a great 75 milligram dose. That's an excellent dose for all your garden variety needs. Fish oil, they discover that omega-3s have such wide-ranging benefits. By the way, the fish get the omega-3 from plants. The fish don't synthesize it themselves. They get it from plants. But the omega-3s themselves have extremely potent cardiovascular benefits, anti-inflammatory benefits, mood-supporting benefits, blood sugar metabolism benefits. It improves just health really throughout the body and brain, really helps brain health and development as well. And then, as I mentioned, bamboo leaf, which lowers cholesterol, protects the endothelial lining of the arteries, is antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. So you can get that this product, Rhythmatics, is an absolutely brilliant product. And one of the things I love about it so much is it's a very simple, straightforward formula that embodies this concept of design intelligence, because all those ingredients put together are going to give you massive benefits at every age. But I really recommend this for anyone over age 45 to be on this essentially for the rest of your life. Regenifree. Regenifree promotes joint comfort and mobility. It also has metabolic benefits. It contains a very simple formula, which essentially involves 3 plants: Protectin, which I mentioned earlier, Scutellaria bicalensis, and Acacia catechu, which are 2 plants from the Chinese medicine world that that you can utilize through this formula for their very profound anti-inflammatory benefits. This combination has been shown to be as potent as many on-the-shelf anti-inflammatory pharmaceuticals. It also improves lipid and blood sugar metabolism. It's even been shown in research that was done by Colgate-Palmolive to reduce bacteria on the gums and improve gum health, lower inflammation of the gums. So you can actually rub it on your gums. And it also contains, based on the genomic research that Univera does, it was discovered that the genes that were upregulated and downregulated by curcumin, this very, very powerful extract of turmeric, along with protectin, that they had complementary benefits in terms of the genes that they regulated, creating an extremely powerful, broad-spectrum anti-inflammatory with a wide array of benefits. Curcumin, as you can see, is like literally a golden treasure chest of benefits for the nervous system, for the liver, for the arteries and veins. It has cardiovascular benefits. It helps metabolic benefits with glucose and lipid balance. just an absolutely tremendous product in a very simple formulation. Again, showing design intelligence in potent levels of what it is you need, and useful for every issue related to inflammation that you might experience. Regenicare quickly contains Protectin again, but in a formula with very powerful joint care ingredients, glucosamine sulfate, chondroitin sulfate, MSM, that play an important role in the molecules that create give strength to the joint action. That breakdown time, normally you want to have a kind of bouncy action because of the long chain proteoglycan molecules, MSM, glucosamine, etc. This fabulous product, you rip it open, you pour it into water, you shake it up and drink it, 1 or 2 packets a day for hip issues, joint issues, etc. This is a very powerful product that has made many a Univera business successful because of its incredible efficacy. And last but not least, level G, because of its benefits for blood sugar. It contains a number of herbs and minerals that work together very beautifully. Banaba extract and a number of minerals, vanadium, chromium, etc., in order to help maintain healthy blood sugar. Altogether, not including Regenicare, you have what's called the metabolic makeover. And as you've heard from me today, you can understand that the metabolic makeover is designed as a program to maximize your overall metabolic health, help in any weight loss program. It should help you lose 10 to 15 pounds all by itself, to really maximize your health and your health givens and lead you forward with a beautiful program that's going to be incredibly valuable at every stage of life. And as far as I'm concerned, you can take all of those ingredients and just throw them in a smoothie, and it's going to rock your world. So on that note, I'm going to thank you very much for your patient listening. We've had a wonderful, wonderful audience tonight. Many different nodes have tuned in tonight. And now I'm going to have Amy come back on from Victoria, British Columbia, the lovely Amy. She's going to tell us all about the business side of Univera, not really business, how you can get these products, how you can get them paid for. So back to you, Amy.
Thank you so much, Dr. Neil. That was quite a wonderful amount of information. I know that when I was first introduced to Univera, it was through a gift from my mom. A lot of people hear about Univera from someone that they care about, and that's because once we experience the benefits for ourselves, we usually want to share those with the people that we love, so that they can feel as good as we feel. So Univera has been set up in such a way so that we all have the ability to share the message. If you choose to, you can start as a customer, experience the benefits for your own self. We do a 90-day money-back guarantee, which a lot of people, we call it the 90-day challenge. We've spent a lot of time, depending on where you're at in your life journey. Sometimes we've spent a number of years not taking as good of care of ourselves as we could have. And I was blessed to be introduced to this at quite a young age. But I knew after watching family members deal with health problems that I really wanted to be proactive and preventative with my health. I'd rather an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, which I think you touched on, Neil. So getting started is very easy. It's very quick. There's a gift card program which allows any person to start on the products at a wholesale discount, and you simply need to ask the person who referred you to this event to provide a redemption code for you, and you can go ahead and order the products for yourself as a customer. Or if you feel the need or the desire to enjoy the products for free, or you want to help the people around you, you can also join us as an associate, where you'll also get the wholesale discount, and you'll have the ability to earn up to $199 Canadian in free products every month, or $179 US. And you do that by sharing with 4 people and leveraging this community and this team and the information that's available to share with people. And so it can be quite simple. We encourage you to reach out to whoever invited you on tonight to find out a bit more information about the best path for you and how to get started. In addition to the $1.99 product credit, there's also some cash that you would receive. And these are 3 of the most popular starter kits. We always say that the best kit for you is going to depend a little bit on your health goals, but based on all that information we received tonight, you might have a good idea of which products could be beneficial for you. And at the same time as investing in your own health, you will be sponsoring children through our partnership with Univera Serve First and Vitamin Angels. So usually sponsoring up to 4 children for an entire year for vitamin supplementation. And one more thing is that you receive free shipping on your first 3 months of orders. So that 90-day trial is going to come shipped to your house for free. So that's pretty amazing. And I think that about wraps it up, unless you've got one more slide for us, Neil. But we just really encourage you to, if you have further questions, reach out, get support, and we'd love to welcome you into our tribe.